You're listening to the Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 205.
Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets.
What's up, coaches? In this episode, I'm going to talk about the economy, politics, and how all of that impacts your coaching business. This is going to be a juicy one. I've been really excited to dive into this. So have you ever felt like the world is just too much sometimes? Like every time you check the news or scroll through social media, there's another crisis, another controversy, or another reason to feel overwhelmed. As a coach or an aspiring coach, you might wonder, how is all of this going to impact your business? Should you say something? Should you stay silent? Do people even care about coaching when the world feels like it's in chaos? Well, in today's episode, we are going to talk about how politics and world events impact coaching and why they really don't have to. Because let's be honest, in the United States, every 4 years, there's an election. And then every few months, there's some kind of new controversy. So the world is always changing. But if you let your outside circumstances dictate how you show up in your business, you are never going to have a solid foundation. So in this episode, I'm going to help you reframe your thinking so that way, no matter what is happening in the world, you stay strong, you stay confident, and you stay in service to the people who need you most. Okay, the truth is, people need coaches now more than ever. The intro that you hear to my podcast still rings true. So the way that you choose to show up, especially in times of uncertainty, can make all of the difference in the impact that you create. So sometimes as a coach, I notice in the academy, we have some students say how when major political shifts happen, they feel a sense of anxiety, whether it's an election or some economic uncertainty or policies that are passed or global events that happen. It can feel like the world is spiraling and suddenly you might think that coaching is no longer relevant. The truth is, circumstances are always changing. Okay, the only constant in life is change. So if you let the news and politics or world events dictate the beliefs you have around your coaching business, you're giving away your power. Right? If every few years or every few months you let outside events make you question your purpose, you're never going to build something truly stable. So if you are thinking that circumstances have really changed in the world and you're not really sure how that's going to affect your coaching, you need to remind yourself that yes, while that's true, circumstances are always changing. Okay, so you can choose to think people are so stressed and they won't consider hiring coaches, or you could double down on how now, more than ever before, because of all the change that's happening, there is more reason why people need coaching now more than ever. You get to decide what you want to believe. If you think that people are so stressed and they don't need coaching, of course, you're going to pull away from your coaching business. You're going to fail ahead of time. You're going to fail before you've even made an attempt to succeed. And you don't want to do that at all. Right? When people are going through stress in their life, when circumstances are changing, when there's uncertainty, this is more reason why people need coaches. So don't let all of the effort that you put into becoming a coach, all of that go to waste when you see things happen in the world, because this is exactly why we need coaches. This is your call to step up. So when you see change going on in the world, instead of trying to see this as a reason why you should hide, what if you see it as an invitation for you to step up, for you to show up in a bigger way? All right, so all you need to do whenever you have thoughts about the world and changes, whenever you have those thoughts and you say, oh, the world's changing, right? A lot of things are shifting. There's a lot of uncertainty. You can have those thoughts, but just add to those sentences things like, and this is the reason why people need coaching, right? If you're thinking the world is full of stress, yes, and this is more reason why people need to hire coaches. If you think people are struggling, okay, yes, and this is why coaching is so necessary. This is why coaching is so valuable. Okay, so don't let the changes that happen in society make you think that it's going to negatively impact your coaching business. There's always going to be change. See it as an opportunity for you to show up in a bigger way because people truly do need coaches now more than ever. Now, some of you might be hearing this and maybe you don't really feel a sense of uncertainty. Maybe you feel a sense of calmness and relief with your life, which is great, right? This is not about any particular political affiliation at all. And Thriving Coach Academy, we're not tied to any political party or ideology. I believe that coaching is really about seeing the humanity in all people, right? As coaches, we're here to help individuals grow and transform and reach their fullest potential, regardless of their background, regardless of their beliefs or their affiliations. So even if you don't feel a sense of overwhelm or uncertainty, it's still important for you to understand what I'm sharing here because you're going to have clients that will feel like the circumstances of the world, the things that are out of their control, are controlling their life. And as coaches, we want to remind people of their power. Okay? So that's key point number one, is that circumstances do not define your coaching business. In actuality, circumstances actually just continue to change as we go through life. And when things are uncertain, it's more reason why people need coaches. Okay, number two that I want you to understand is a lot of the reason why you might feel overwhelmed if, I'm sharing this right now and you just feel this heaviness with all the things happening in the news. If you feel like maybe the way you engage with social media is different and you just want to, potentially stop using it altogether, then that might not be the worst idea. Okay, you might actually want to consider a social media or information detox. We had a student in the academy. We have weekly business development calls where our coaches get any kind of support they need on their business or their mindset. And our students all get lifetime access to this, even beyond the time that they get certified. So we had one of our students raise her hand and she said that she just feels like she doesn't want to use social media anymore. Everything just feels so heavy. And one of the suggestions I gave her was to take a break from social media, to actually not check her phone so often and scroll through and see all the different news headlines. And she was open to doing it. And within just a couple of weeks of doing an information detox, she came back to a later business call, and she said how it was one of the best things that she had done in a long time. She felt so refreshed. She felt so much lighter, so much more clear and excited about her business than before. Now, when I say to take a detox from social media and information, this is not about you being uninformed. It's about choosing what gets to influence your energy. And we live in an age now where we have information overload, okay? We're constantly bombarded with updates, with news alerts, with opinions, and it could easily get exhausting. But you need to consider, is staying glued to all the news headlines, is that really helping you grow your business and serve your clients, right? Is consuming more negativity making you a better coach? What if you set some boundaries around your information intake? So for some of you, it might be just completely detoxing. For others, it might be limiting the news and social media to just maybe a specific window in each day instead of checking it just throughout the day, morning, afternoon, evening. Also, you need to take responsibility for the media that you choose to follow, right? When you open up your phone, whatever is showing up there, you have control over what you can follow, what you can mute, or what you can unfollow. So if you notice that you feel your energy drained by a certain person or news source, maybe it's worth considering to unfollow that or mute that. Okay, if it's draining your energy, then why is it there? So you want to take responsibility for the information that you are putting into your mind. Just like if you're feeling lethargic and you're not feeling like your body is performing well, you've got to take responsibility for the food that you're putting in your mouth. Same thing when it comes to information that we put in our brains. So it's about having balance, right? If you're reading negative news, maybe you want to balance that out by reading or listening to things that are inspiring or uplifting. Because the fact of the matter is, there are so many amazing things that happen in our world every single day, like incredible, miraculous things that happen. There's also really terrible, dreadful, sad things that happen every day. So you get to decide what you want to focus on. And a lot of news is going to share the negative because that's an easy way to hook people in and latch into their fears. Okay, so this is not about ignoring reality. It's just about you taking responsibility for the information that you consume. And at the very least, if you notice that there's a heaviness that you've been experiencing for several months now or a while, even more than that, consider a complete information detox. It might be the best thing that you could do for yourself right now. All right, again, it's not about ignoring reality at all. It's just making sure that you're not drowning in all the different news sources out there. All right, so if something's negative, just cut it out. If it's not serving you, if it's not furthering your mission to make an impact and create a difference in people's lives as a coach, then why do you need to follow that? Why do you have to consume that? Do not worry about being uninformed because there's so much information out there. You're still going to be informed, right? News will still find a way to get to you, even if it's through other people. You're still going to be informed, but you're going to feel so much more empowered and clear and focused and not just weighed down by all the negativity that is out there. And remember, there's negativity and there's positivity everywhere. You really get to decide what kind of balance you want to create with that. Like I really love RuPaul, and one quote that RuPaul has is, "You can look at the darkness, but just don't stare because it'll make you crazy." I really like that quote. Decide what you want to focus on. There's wonderful things that happen every day. There's terrible things that happen every day. So what's going to serve you? What's going to serve your mission, your impact, and your clients? Another thing I want you to know is that you really don't want to run your coaching business on fear. Okay, so if you are constantly worried about world events, it might be time to ask yourself, how much do you believe in people's ability to change regardless of circumstances? This is a question that we ask all of our students to reflect on very early on in their coach training. How much do you really believe in people's ability to change regardless of circumstance? Because if you feel like the circumstances of the world are weighing people down, what you're doing is not believing that people have the ability to rise to the occasion, to overcome adversity. All right? So you don't want fear and negativity to diminish the power that you see in people. One concept that we teach in the academy is the heroic lens. And what this means is seeing your clients and seeing people as heroes. And our role as a coach is to awaken the hero within, right? Seeing people as greater than their circumstances. This is not to minimize the real challenges that people go through. It's about knowing that they have the capacity, they have the capability to show up powerfully to those challenges, to create a difference in their lives, to not be held back by their circumstances. So what is it that needs to change within you for you to not just feel powerful again, but also to see people as powerful again? Okay, if you feel like you see yourself as powerless, or you feel powerless, or you see others as powerless, this is not a good way to go about your coaching business at all, because it's just going to reinforce a limiting idea that circumstances define reality. And we know that this is not true, right? There's plenty of instances, and I'm sure you can probably think about some people in your life right now, whether they're people you know or have learned about, people alive or people through history, how they have been able to overcome adversity. They've been able to create an amazing life for themselves, even when the odds maybe weren't in their favor. Okay, your circumstances do not define you, and they don't define your clients either. So if every election or every world crisis sends you into a spiral, how do you expect to build a long-term sustainable business, right? Your clients are really looking to you to be the stable one. So if you're shaken up every time the world shifts, how are you going to guide others through their own challenges? The way you do that is you must remember that we all have a hero within us. You must see the hero in people. You must see the hero within yourself. So how much do you believe in people's ability to change regardless of circumstances? If you don't believe that, what would it take for you to start believing that? What evidence can you look for of people that have been able to create change in their lives even when circumstances were unfavorable. I can guarantee you can start to think of some people if you just take some time to reflect on it. All right. So circumstantial changes that happen in the world are things like politics. The weather is a circumstantial change. Your geographic location would be considered a circumstance. The economy overall would be considered a circumstance. These are always changing and evolving, and we don't have total control over these things. In some of these areas, we might have zero control, right? We don't control the weather, right? So for a lot of this, it's not about needing to have control, but it's knowing that even if you have some level of influence, it doesn't have to be total control. If you have some influence or no influence, you want to realize that your clients are heroes. They can rise to the occasion. They could face any circumstance in their life. So if you feel powerless, you cannot feel this way and expect to grow your business. What needs to change for you to feel a sense of power in your own life, right? How can we bring back the beliefs in you that you do have power, that you do have agency in your life? And it might just be noticing little day-to-day things that you do. When you wake up, right, having power over what it is that you're eating, what it is that you're wearing, where it is that you're choosing to go, what information you're choosing to consume. Like, you've got to take those little steps when you feel powerless to get you to a place where you start to realize that you are powerful and you could feel powerful again. We don't want you spiraling into overwhelm every election cycle, because then this is just going to be a chaotic way to run your coaching business. Don't be distracted by all of the noise. I want you to have an unwavering dedication to your clients and your business and the value that you put it into the world. I remember when the pandemic started to happen several years ago, there were a lot of coaches that became totally overwhelmed. And it was like all the coaching that they learn. I'm not saying our students in Thriving Coach Academy, but just other coaches I know from other networks. I noticed like everything that I know they learned to become a coach just went out the window. And all of a sudden it was like people had no agency, people had no ability to choose how they think and what they feel, when really the pandemic was like the perfect time for coaches to really show up and really show people how it's done, show people how you can navigate uncertainty. And the coaches that did embrace that thrived, right? Their businesses exponentially grew. And I'm included in that. I had some incredible, at the time, like my best income years were during the pandemic. It's grown every year since then. But I just knew that this is why I spent so long learning how to coach, to handle circumstances like this that feel out of control, right? Just because something feels out of control, the feeling is not factual. It doesn't mean that you are out of control. And that might be something to remind yourself if you feel like the world events have a hold on you. Okay. So the next thing I want you to know is that I want you to see yourself as a creator and not a consumer. So when you do use something like social media, you want to remember that you are, especially if you're running a business and you're choosing to market yourself on social media, log into those apps thinking, I'm here to share something. I'm here to offer something that will make a difference. If you go into social media and you scroll and you see negativity and then you feel depleted and you log off, you've done absolutely nothing to make a positive impact on the world. So remember that you have the ability to create value for others. You have the ability to share stories, to share ideas, to share perspectives, to share frameworks. You have the ability to put out information into the world that people can be inspired by and that people can look forward to. You get to be that for people. So if you are going into your phone and you're scrolling and you're seeing negativity, instead of just deciding, oh, well, the world's terrible and there's nothing I can do, what if you saw it as an opportunity for you to be the change that you want to see, right? You can log into Instagram and think, what's going on in the world today? Or you can log in and think, what can I share that will make a difference? Okay, the people who make the biggest impact in coaching aren't people that are just scrolling through. They're showing up. They're sharing ideas. They're leading. So if you don't like the negativity you see, be the person who changes the narrative. Be the person that changes the conversation. If you don't like negativity on social media, instead of letting that hold you back and decide to just leave it behind altogether, right? You have a phone and you have the ability to put your own story out there. You can change the narrative. You can create things that you like and you know other people will like. So what if you're called to fill in the space that you are seeing? Right? If you're seeing that there's a gap, if you're seeing there's a lot of negativity, you're seeing there's a lot of uncertainty, what if you are what the world needs to help address that? What if no one else is going to do it? I really believe that coaches are the leaders of our society. Coaches are the game changers and thought leaders in our society. So we can't allow ourselves to just see what happens in the news and just let that define us and hold us back, right? We cannot let that happen. So as the coach, you are invited. If you feel like the heaviness of it, what if it's the invitation for you to share stories and ideas that will help shift our collective consciousness? So think, how can I show up? How can I take up more space? How can I create the impact I want to see? What if people need to hear my message, my story, my ideas more than ever before? What if this is really the time? Now, I also want to just say that little fun fact when it comes to knowing people's buying behavior and spending behavior. When people are stressed, do you think people spend more money or less money? Just take a moment and reflect on that. The answer is when people are stressed, they actually spend more money. So if you're worried about change happening in the world and uncertainty, and you think, oh, that's going to mean less people are going to spend money on coaching, think again, because actually when people go through stress and uncertainty, they spend more money on things in their life, including coaching. All right, so there's actually just ways you can see how this might work for you. I know it's a little bit twisted, but it's true. It's just true. So people will always say that there's various things in their life that they can't afford, because I know that sometimes when you see change happen in the world, you think, well, how on earth are people going to afford coaching? People always say that there's things they can't afford in life, and you just need to be okay with some people saying that and still have the belief that what you have is valuable as a coach. All right, there's going to be a lot, like we have dozens of people every day that will send us emails or texts to Thriving Coach Academy and just say, oh, we can't afford your program. And that's totally okay. Like imagine if I decided to close up shop, if I had a bunch of people say they couldn't afford Thriving Coach Academy, right? That it would be over. It'd be over for everybody. So it's normal for people to say that they can't afford your coaching. It doesn't mean that your coaching isn't valuable. It might mean that they just don't want it, because people buy things that they say they can't afford all the time, right? When people really want something, they will find a way to afford it. And the reality is not everyone puts a high value on their own personal growth and transformation, right? Everyone puts high value on something in their life. Some people put a high value on technology. They're willing to spend more to get high quality tech. Some people put a high value on fashion. They're willing to buy more designer clothing. Some people put a high value on food. They want to experience fine dining and higher quality foods. Some people put a high value on travel. They want to fly business class and first class. They want to stay in luxurious hotels and have incredible accommodations. And with all of that logic in mind, there are also people on the planet that put a high value on their growth and their transformation. These are ambitious, driven, successful people. They're out there, right? And the circumstances of the world does not change that they're out there. So if you feel like, I don't know if people can afford coaching because of what's going on in the world, you need to remember that those clients are still everywhere. Don't let the circumstances make you think like that's suddenly changing how people value coaching. It's like saying all of a sudden people don't care about learning or growing, right? It's one of the needs that we have as humans is to learn and to grow and to evolve. So it's what makes us human, and no circumstance in society is going to change that. There are always going to be people that want to grow, that want to learn, that want to take their life to the next level, right? And when there's shakiness happening in the world and change that's going on, those are often times when people start to question the path they're on, and that's when they end up seeking out coaches to help them navigate that uncertainty. Like when the pandemic was going on, there were so many people that were questioning their career paths. Maybe they were abruptly taken out of careers that they had. So whether through force or through their own self exploration, they came to a realization that they were stuck and things needed to change. And that's why a lot of coaches saw incredible growth during the pandemic. The coaches that still believed that people would value their services. If you just assume ahead of time people can't afford coaching because there's a lot going on in the world, then you're having the clients not hire you before you're even giving them the chance to hire you. So you're like deciding for them ahead of time that they're not able to hire you when they are and they want to. So one of the main points I'm making here is see opportunities everywhere. You want to remember that your circumstances do not define you and they do not define your clients. Be the change that you want to see. All right? Again, if you're thinking that people are stressed and maybe the world's falling into a dark place, you can think that, but also see the belief that this is your call to now show up. This is your call to show up and make a difference. All right. And if you feel like you're called to make a difference and you want to have our support, that's why we're here. That's why Thriving Coach Academy exists. If you're not already a student, we would love to have you in the academy. We've revamped our curriculum. We added a whole new training on how to earn your ICF credentials. We are the only school that gives you the exam prep training for the ICF's new credentialing exam. We also just released brand new business materials to further support you in attracting clients, all things that are ahead of the curve, helping you stand out and be a powerful coach that will thrive in the modern world. So head to thrivingcoachacademy.com if you're interested. We have a free training on our site where you can learn about what it's going to take to be successful as a coach. And then from there, you could book a call with our team or just get yourself enrolled right away if you want to get started. Okay, so remember, you have so much power. When you feel powerless, don't let that feeling define you. You have so much power. Your clients have so much power. This is really your time to make a difference as a coach. So let's show up, coaches. Let's show up. Let's do the work that we know we're called to do. The world really needs it now more than ever. All right, before I go, I'm going to leave a snippet from an interview that I had with a coach who went through our program. You can learn a little bit about their story and also some of their tips for how you can be successful as a coach. So enjoy their story, and I will see you in the next episode.
My name is Laura Meredith, and I am a graduate of Thriving Coach Academy. Throughout my whole life, pretty much I've heard murmurs of like what coaching is, and when I've considered my career and what I wanted, I'd heard from other people or I've seen things about being a life coach or a career coach or just a coach in general. I always felt intrigued by it, but never felt like I could fully do it. And then the opportunity to work with a coach was given to me through my full-time corporate job. I went on this like self-discovery journey, starting with working with this coach to figure out what I wanted. And then all of a sudden, I had this light bulb moment when I was talking about my career with some friends at dinner that I should be a coach. All of a sudden, it just made sense that coaching was the path. At that time in my life, I was really looking for my own individual purpose and like understanding of why I'm here and like what am I meant to do. I wanted a career that would enable me to live the life that I wanted and give me energy and fulfillment without taking away from all the wonderful things in my life. A career and a profession that allowed me to embrace who I was and just be the whole complete version of myself while feeling connected to the work that I was doing. Coaching is that for me. When I found Thriving Coach Academy in my frantic internet search, I was immediately drawn to it. I found TCA to have this really unique, approachable, and professional quality to it that had an element of play as well as seriousness. And it just felt like a very empowering program that I felt would set me up for success as a coach. I loved that TCA talked about needing to have the skills to be an amazing coach, as well as the professional, like business and marketing aspect of coaching that I didn't see in a lot of other programs. I was considering a lot of other programs. I attended a lot of webinars and talked to a lot of people. I had researched quite a few at that point, and I was actually pretty sold on IPEC, but I wanted to explore a little bit more just to do my due diligence. And then when I found TCA, I felt instantly called to explore that further. I knew I wanted to become a life coach and I knew I wanted to do it with TCA. I have loved the support that I've gotten from the academy. I graduated feeling like a very skilled coach, and no matter where you are in your journey, if you feel like you've been coaching people your whole life, or you feel like it's something that you're ready to start exploring because it just feels like something that would work for you, you will be so set up for success as part of TCA and the Academy. I never thought I could be an entrepreneur, and here I am, an entrepreneur. I'm running my own business. I do have multiple paying clients. I just really think my biggest win is just the connection to myself, and that's enabled me to connect with others too. I see myself with skills that I'll be able to carry with me forever. Another thing that I wish I would have done, but that I started doing a little bit into my journey, is documenting any thought that I had about coaching in my own journey and my growth. You do a lot of documentation in the program, being able to look back on my own growth and just like recording voice memos or sending little text to yourself or whatever way you like to journal, to just think about your journey as a coach. When I think about Laura, the version of Laura who just started, looking back on her, I just feel this like pride in her and how much she committed and she had to this program and to herself. And she had no idea what she would be able to do and what she would be able to accomplish. So I think documenting that journey over time would be such a beautiful thing to like look back on and to see growth. Just documenting your journey will help you create ideas and content later. If you are considering the Academy, there's a reason you're being drawn to it. Just do it. Like, invest in yourself, bank on yourself, and you will not be disappointed by the amazing humans that you get to connect with, both who are a part of the Academy and who are also leading the Academy.
Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coach's secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.